like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. We acknowledge the traditional custodians and elders of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, both past and present, upon whose ancestral lands we're gathered today. We recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and continuing relationship with the land. I would especially like to make welcome all the celebrity judges. Thank you so much for coming. Mission Australia representatives, key partners of this campaign, Singapore Airlines, Altitude, Volvo, Red Balloon, Red Letter Management, InSync Surveys, Working 3, JXT Consulting. And to make an apology on behalf of our Premier, the Honourable Ted Baillieu, for not being able to make it this morning. This 3-month competition engages the public, companies and the media in a debate over which job is the ultimate job for this year.
Best job in the world.
Do you have the ultimate job?
I do, because I do a lot of things, and one of those things is be able to put smiles on people's face by giving them great food. Not only externally with my customers, but internally with my chefs. And only last night I was working the pass at St. Catherine's, and not only inspiring my young apprentices and my young cooks, but then walking out into the dining room and seeing people happy. And I think, you know, that is just an absolute joy.
I want to agree with George. I think it's a job that enables you to live out your passion. And I think Mission Australia is very privileged to have 3,500 staff nationally that live out their passion in a whole variety of ways. You could be running a sobering up centre in Darwin, or it can be helping migrant women with a playgroup in Dandenong. And I think for every one of us, we're here, we're successful because we know what that passion is and our ability, and we have the privilege, if you like, to live that out. So I would say it's anything that enables that deep down passion to be really realised.
One of my favourite equations is imagination plus association equals possibility, and that's what we're doing here today. That's what George is doing each night of the week. We've all got that equation in our life. I've written 14 books about that question that you just asked me, so I'll try to paraphrase. And it is about bounding out of bed each day, making a difference, falling in love with a blank sheet of paper and anything that you can bring there.
Any ultimate job is where you're creating something in the world that didn't exist before. And I think that's what I love about working with artists, because they just have this imagination, this understanding of who they are as people, or they're searching for that. And what they return to the world is something that didn't exist before. And whether it's cooking or architecture or whatever field it is, I think it's that innate creativity is what, you know, we must treasure.
If you hear what George says and Max says and everyone else says, it's about the excitement in the job as much as it is anything else. So when you do go and do something, whatever it be, if you have a sense of excitement and challenge and giving and receiving out of it, then I think that's the ultimate sort of elements that make up a perfect job. So in the last 12 months we've created Melbourne Heart, and Drake International are a great sponsor thereof, and that's been a great challenge and but there's been a whole lot of satisfaction that comes out of it, a whole lot of excitement. So whether it be cooking in the kitchen or creating a new club, they're all about something new, something innovative, and if they're innovative and new, then that gives you creativity and other things, and that's the excitement that comes out of it.
The thing for me is the connection between education and income. And moving to Melbourne and working with a business school that has 6,500 students throughout the year, a team of 300 educators that work with them, I actually get to influence them. I get to encourage them where I can, inspire them and show them what's possible. So for me, if we can make just a small difference to a few people that can be in a position where they're actually earning an income, and they can actually put a roof over the heads of their family, well, that's my job done.
How wonderful is the world now, where you can use technology to take on the world and still stay in the city that you love. We're now in this amazing position where distance doesn't matter anymore. I think what Francis Cairncross wrote a book called The Death of Distance, and that's just an extraordinary situation where at my son's school, one of his mates, 14-year-old boy, is making apps that he's uploading on the Apple App Store. and is making money out of that. So we can live in this great city, create ideas, create technology that we can distribute around the world. So that's not what I do, but I wouldn't mind doing that.
I think my first job was working at the local harness racing track.
Really?
And writing on the boards, because it was the days before technology, so they usually got the young kid to sit in the middle with the Indian ink and big thick pens and write the horses' names and what the current odds were. And so at the end of the day, you end up with very black hands and a very small paycheck, which you have to keep rubbing these numbers off and putting new numbers on. But that's sort of my first job.
As we educate our young players on life, so they just don't become rock stars, they actually understand the great responsibilities that they have and the great opportunities that they have to do some meaningful stuff in a way. For us, it's things like reading programs or cyberbullying programs or self-esteem programs and things that you wouldn't have dreamt of even 4 or 5 years ago.